That's great. That's great.
See if I
Brad,
can.
thank you very much again for your time, for opportunity to talk with you. Um, I, I've, sorry for my English is not perfect yet, but I've known about you, I think, 1 year ago
Uh,
about EFT, and I just started to discover what is that, and I found your videos in YouTube, your site, and I do it regularly, almost every day, and that's amazing. I see some results, and uh, Jack Canfield introduced me to EFT, and I've mentioned you when I see him last year, and it's great. It's great.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, Jack's great. So now, where are you located?
I live in Moscow.
Ah,
I live in Russia, Brett, and yeah, welcome. You've been close. You've been in London, and so maybe next time you come to Russia.
Pavel, it's been on my list. My parents were there 2 years ago, and I mean I for a long time back when I was in college and I was studying acting. I had all these ideas about going and studying, Stanislavski method in Moscow, and but it never happened. But rest assured, your English is a whole lot better than my Russian. I can say Nostrovia and Yates, and that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you for your support. Okay, if you don't mind, we can start.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, Brad, thank you very much again for your time and for this opportunity to talk with you, to record a short, small interview for my followers, for to get to know you, your method. You are world recognized expert in EFT, emotional freedom technique. You are best-selling author of the children book. It's called The Wizard's Wish, the co-author of the best-selling Freedom of Your Fingertips. You've been on TV shows, on radio shows. You've been in a movie, The Tapping Solutions. Brett, can you please tell us about yourself a little bit, about EFT, and how did you start doing this?
Yeah. How does a grown man find himself tapping on his face for a living? It's it's always a curious question. I actually started out as an actor and had toured around the world doing theater, and then I went to Hollywood to become a movie star. And after being there for I don't know, I'd been there for about 7 years, and I met my wife, got married. She was pregnant with our first child, and I thought I should probably have a backup job just in case. And instead of getting a regular job, I started as a hypnotherapist and started to build a small hypnotherapy practice. And then when our second child was on the way, I thought, you know what? I am really loving working in hypnotherapy, working with the power of the mind, helping people change their lives. And I'd rather do that than trying to make it as an actor. I felt this was really my calling. This was really what I was meant to do. And when we left Los Angeles, through some other hypnotherapists, I learned about EFT. And I went and took a one-day training with Gary Craig, the founder of EFT, and I just fell in love with this process. So little by little, I started introducing a little bit of tapping into my hypnotherapy sessions. And then as time went on, my sessions started to become tapping sessions with a little bit of hypnotherapy at the end. And I still do a little bit of guided imagery in my work, but I just really fell in love with this process of tapping, which is based on acupuncture. So for thousands of years in Chinese medicine, they've said there's a flow of energy through the body, and when this energy is flowing naturally, we experience our natural state of well-being, physically and emotionally. And then when this energy gets stuck somehow, we don't feel so good. We experience stress, we experience anger, sadness, frustration, fear. And so in traditional Chinese medicine, they would stick little needles in key points around the face and the body to stimulate the healthy flow of energy. And then a psychologist named Roger Callahan found that just by tapping with your fingertips on these key points, you could get that energy moving and clear out these uncomfortable feelings and start to feel better. And then what a lot of us are finding, that as we clear that stuff out, as we clear out those uncomfortable emotions, we then have the emotional freedom to make better choices in life. So we can change our health, we can change what we physically look like, we can change our relationships, we can change our career, our financial status. So we give ourselves the freedom to make better choices, take better actions, and live a much better life. All by just tapping on our face.
Yeah. So, can we apply this method for any areas of our lives, for any blocks, any limiting beliefs?
Yeah, the expression, I think it was Gary Craig came up with it, is try it on everything. You know, we don't know what it can't work on. We've used it for so many things: physical issues, emotional issues, career issues. So, and I've worked with folks in so many different areas of life. Changing their financial status, changing their careers, dealing with breakup of a relationship, dealing with chronic pain or weight loss, spiritual issues, trying to find a greater spiritual connection. When we try to change, see, the thing is, we're always doing the best we can based on our programming. So whatever information we've gotten, and a lot of that is misinformation. Like if our parents were really bad at math and they taught us that 4 plus 4 equals 11, we're going to go through life thinking 4 plus 4 equals 11, but when we take a math test, we're probably going to fail because the rest of the world might not believe that 4 plus 4 equals 11. So, but when we try to change that, when we try to insert the new idea, no, 4 plus 4 equals 8, that's different. That means change, and our body is programmed to respond as though that's a threat. Any kind of change is, it stimulates this part of our brain called the amygdala. We experience stress, and we go into fight or flight. And that was part of our brain that developed thousands and thousands of years ago when we actually faced, life-threatening situations. Saber-toothed tiger, neighboring tribe with spears, we had to have a real physical reaction that could make us run really fast or fight really powerfully. But now we get sort of the same response when someone gives us a dirty look. We get these chemicals in our body like adrenaline and cortisol, and we respond in sometimes not a very healthy way, sometimes not a very practical way to a lot of situations. And part of us is designed to try to keep ourselves stuck in what feels safe, the life that we know, even if it's crap. Part of it says, yeah, but it's my crap. I know where it is. I know where to put it. I know how to deal with it. Excuse me. So, I love when it happens in an interview. We may have to start this over. Hey, hold on a minute. I gotta go get some water.
Yeah. Okay, Brett, of course.
Took a while, and so now I'm back. Thank you for your patience.
That's great.
Just do a little tapping on that. Oh, well.
Okay.
Apparently haven't tapped enough so that nothing ever happens. Still a work in progress. Do you want to start over with that?
It's okay, Brett. You can continue. I just do
Edit.
two videos. Yeah.
Okay. What was I saying? Oh, can it be used for anything? So, yeah, we find that with tapping, as we clear out the stress that comes up, when we look at making any changes, part of us just wants to resist change. We want things the same, even if it's crap. Part of us says, it's my crap. I know where it is. I know how to deal with it, and I don't want to have to deal with new crap. So we resist it, and stress comes up in our body, sometimes so quickly and so subtly that we're not consciously aware of it. We may be sitting there We may want to be in a relationship. We may be feeling lonely, but something inside of us says, "Oh, we've been in a relationship before. That was painful." It's much safer to be single. So we might be in the grocery store, and there's some attractive stranger, a little ways away, and part of our mind sees that person and says, "Oh, that would be dangerous," and quickly we go, "Oh, look, there's a sale on aisle 2," and we're already over there without consciously being aware that we just saw somebody, because inside part of us is taking care of ourselves and creating this stress response to try to keep us safe. I like to say that self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love. There's a part of us that makes choices that are not necessarily in our best interest consciously. Those things that we do that make us overweight, those things that we do that make us broke, those things that we do that make us lonely. We look at that and go, "What's wrong? That's not what I want." But unconsciously, we're saying, "Yeah, but it's safer." So we just have this fear, and fear is one of those things that we tackle as we clear that fear out, we clear out the stress response, and we find that we have greater freedom to make better choices about our money, our health, our relationships.
Brett, and you've mentioned some people. Who else your role models, your mentors, your teachers?
Oh, there are certainly Jack Canfield has long time been one of my mentors. People I've learned from: Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, a lot of these teachers, teachers from the past, Jesus, Buddha, Mahatma Gandhi, a lot of these people who, just different teachings of theirs just make sense, and you go, "Oh yeah, that's a good way to live." That makes sense. I could be more peaceful living that way. And a lot of that stuff flows through when I'm doing the tapping videos and tapping rounds, whether I'm working with a client or working in front of an audience. This stuff comes through, and a lot of it, it just happens intuitively. I'm not consciously thinking, "Oh, here, I know what I'll say now." But a lot of it comes from a lot of these teachings that I've learned, whether it's from thousands and thousands of years ago, something from the Bhagavad Gita, or if it's something that, I picked up from Jack Canfield, something in an email a year ago, or something like that. So, a lot of different people that, that I've read their books and things like that, and that stuff just comes through.
Yeah, and I love your videos very much. I've seen maybe 200 or 300, and you're a very intelligent, smart person, and you mentioned some books. Also, you mentioned the hardbaker and classical books. What kind of books you like to read, and do you read a lot during your day? And
Oh, Pavel, that's the big question. I don't read nearly as much as I would like to. Uh, and I too rarely find time to read just for fun. If I do pick up a book, it tends to be a personal development book. It's like trying to come up with new ideas. It's like, okay, what else? What other discoveries have people come up with? Different ways of looking at things that I could then share with people. But my all-time favorite book, the book that really got me into this, was Illusions by Richard Bach. It's the same author who wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull.
yes,
And it's really funny because, as I've talked about this book being the one that really got me started on this path, my dad gave it to me when I was 15. And it wasn't until years later, but it's like, wow, that book really just started the thought process. But I've talked to my friends Bob Doyle, Joe Vitale, Mike Dooley, all these guys who were in the movie The Secret. They all say, "Yeah, that was one of the books that got me started too." So you find a lot of people who have said, "Oh yeah, Illusions. That was really the starting point for me being on this path of thinking this way."
yeah. Brett, and you're very successful. You have 2 children, you have wonderful wife and family, and you're successful in your career and what you do, helping people. how do you do that so much? What's your usual day look like?
Well, that would assume that I have a usual day. It's strange right now because I'm trying to get back into the flow of things because for most of July I was traveling for a week, traveling with my whole family back east, New York and Boston, Philadelphia, just sightseeing, but also doing workshops. Then I was only home for a few days before my wife and I went off to do workshops in Ireland, England, and Scotland. So for most of the past month, I've been traveling. So now I have to get back into finding out what my rhythm is. But it varies. I'm very blessed and fortunate to be in a position now where I get to choose what it is that I want to do. And my day is pretty much my own in terms of, okay, I'll leave a certain amount of time open to see private clients. I'll work on some projects. I'll look at where my next workshops are going to be. That's very much in my mind now. I've already done more workshops this year than I've previously done in like 2 or 3 years together, and really enjoying it. So I'm like, okay, where am I going to go next? And trying to set up those next workshops. But really, a lot of it is just that I do a fair amount of tapping. I recommend tapping on a daily basis. I get to tap on myself while I'm working with others. So I keep clearing my own blocks to success. I keep clearing my own blocks to happiness. And so it just happens kind of naturally. A lot of it is just being very service oriented. I have almost 600 videos on YouTube that are out there for free because I'm trying to make a difference. None of those videos was designed in terms of marketing. None of them was designed with the idea of, okay, this will be a great way to get people to come and look at my products. Now, it does that, and that's a great thing. There's nothing wrong with marketing. But for me, it's that the intention has always been, what can I do that's going to make the world a better place? And as I clear my own blocks to success, the universe is happy to reward me in all kinds of ways, in financially and in terms of happiness, in terms of having great, healthy kids and a wonderful wife. So all these benefits just naturally flow to me.
Yeah. And how do you start your day, Brett? Do you meditate? Do you maybe have a gratitude journal or something like this?
I do. I've been off my rhythm with this past month with traveling, but I do tend to get up. I do some tapping every day. I do some visualization. I do a little bit of meditation. I've been very off on that, but today I did a nice long meditation this morning. Trying to make that more of my routine. People have been talking about meditation for so long, and it's like, all right, I should do more of that. So sometimes I'll do some journaling. It changes, but in general, it usually starts off with some tapping, some visualization, and some exercise. Been off that too, so I'm very happy today to have started my day with a good exercise.
Yeah, that's great. And sometimes I do EFT videos with you in YouTube, like 3, sometimes 4. I repeat what you say in Russian, and mostly in Russian, but sometimes in English. Brad, is that sometimes I feel tired. So how many EFT sessions do you make for yourself? Or just one in the morning and one in the evening, or we can do it 3, 5, 6?
I'm not big on rules about this. And I get this question a lot. How many can I do? Should I stick to one? And I think it's okay to do different ones, especially because, as we hear different words, sometimes we come at issues from different angles. So, if you have the time, that's great. I recommend doing some tapping every day. If you only have 5 minutes, 5 minutes of tapping is better than no tapping at all. If you can do it for, 20 minutes, half an hour, I know people who do several hours. The thing is, though, that with tapping, the idea is to clear ourselves so that we have the freedom to go out and live the best life possible. So you want to be out there living your life. So if you spend all day tapping, then that may be an escape.
Yeah.
So so you want to be out there living your life. Don't want to spend too much time doing it. But and the tiredness, there are generally two different things that are going on. One of them is sometimes EFT can be a real workout. We're dealing with our emotions, and we're dealing with especially some heavier stuff. We can get a sort of tired and feel worn out after like a really good workout. Sometimes there's a tiredness that comes up that says, "Oh, I just don't want to do any more of this," and that to me tends to sound like resistance. So there may be a part of us that's saying, "Oh, you're getting too close to making some changes here. You need to run away.
Wow.
You need to stop. Stop what you're doing right now before you change, before things get different.
Yeah.
They might get better, but they're going to be different." And part of us, would rather have the same. So that's one of the things that sometimes comes up with the tiredness, is that it's part of us wanting to just escape and run away. So, as we go through it, we can just look at them and say, okay, what's going on here? Am I just feeling resistance? Or am I really just, wow, I feel kind of worn out after going through a really good workout? And there's no right or wrong. There's, if part of you says, you know what, I think I'm done for the day, great. If you've done some tapping, great. Because to me, it's energy hygiene. We have physical hygiene. We brush our teeth. We take showers. We tend to do that on a daily basis. Hopefully, we don't usually wait until we don't look in the mirror and go, yeah, now there's a lot of green stuff in between my teeth. Maybe now I should brush my teeth. People are walking away from me holding their nose. Maybe now I should take a shower. we do maintenance. We keep up with it. So to me, it's the same with tapping. It's because it's clearing out stress. And stress builds up. We don't want to just have it building up until the point where someone says, hey, how you doing? And we blow up at them. We yell at them. And they're like, whoa, where did that come from? Well, it came up from all the stress that was building up. So just doing at least some hygiene every day allows us to be in a much better place to respond to life.
Yeah. And first of all, one more time, Brett, I'm very grateful that I found your work, your site, and your videos, and I feel a lot of changes in my own life. I'm in personal development about 9 years. I've read like hundreds of books like you do, in biographies, autobiographies, personal development, business, philosophy, and psychology, and this technique is amazing. When I did, like maybe 6 months ago, when I did video with you in YouTube about father, Brad, my father passed away when I was 7, and I thought maybe I have some limiting beliefs about this, maybe I have some negative thoughts about that. And when I did this video, it was about 9 minutes, and I was alone in my apartment, and I felt something here in my chest, something released, and I started to laugh. I've laughing maybe about a minute. It's amazing feeling. It wasn't unusual for me that what happened that day.
That's excellent. It's there's a lot of good that can be done with talk therapy, but there's a physical component to these things. So adding in this physical component to deal with the energy, to deal with the stress that comes up, because especially with father issues, that's with any kind of emotional things like that, there's a lot of programming that we have about how you have to feel bad and how you have to, there's a lot of shoulds, a lot of people shoulding on us. You should feel this, you should feel that. And so when we start to try to talk about it, part of us says, no, you have to keep feeling bad about this. So as we start to tap and we start to clear out the stress and we go, maybe that's not true. Maybe I don't have to feel bad. Maybe I don't have to be stuck in this way. and we clear out that stress response that tells us to stay back, and we break through to a new understanding. So that's awesome to hear. It's great to hear how you've allowed that to let yourself come out and be who you can really be for the world. And that's the great thing is we have gifts and talents to share. You have gifts and talents to share, so to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to do something, even if it looks a little strange, and allow what I have to offer to come out. I like to talk about the Michelangelo principle or process. So
I remember this picture behind you.
Yeah, I have this poster of Michelangelo's fingers. To me, and all around, I have David, Michelangelo's David. To me, it's great. I've got a giant cutout. I have little statues of it. And so Michelangelo said, the statue was already there, perfect, inside the marble. All I had to do was chip away what didn't belong to reveal the magnificence inside. To me, that's how it is with people. The magnificence inside, the masterpiece, is already there inside of us. But we have all this excess marble on it, doubt and fear and guilt and shame. And we hold on to that because we believe it protects us. We're much safer being covered in marble. Not happy, maybe not healthy, but we feel safe. So with this, we're just tapping away what doesn't belong. We're releasing all that stuff that covers up the true magnificence inside and the gifts and talents we have to share with the world. So everyone's got something brilliant to share, and it's I love doing this work where, just like this, knowing, finding out. I don't usually get to find out what's going on with people who are watching the videos. So to hear, okay, you made this video and I watched it and it helped me share my gifts and talents more. That's really rewarding and gratifying. So thank you.
Thank you, Brett. Brent, is it necessary to affirm your thoughts out loud, or you can? Sometimes I see my vision board on Mind Movie and just do tapping without words. What do you think about that?
Yeah, when like doing a tapping video or doing a tapping round in a session, we find that it tends to be more effective to say the words out loud because you're more emotionally connected. And like what you were saying about doing it, repeating it back in Russian, I get that question a lot from folks who English is not their first language. And that can be great because we tend to connect more emotionally in our native language. So that's great you do that. Is it necessary? No, because if you've got the feelings coming up and you're tapping, you're going to be clearing stuff out. So I always tell folks, experiment. See if saying it out loud makes a difference. If not, then you can just be watching things and tapping, especially like, looking at your vision board and going over certain things like that. And you don't necessarily have to be saying anything out loud, but you're allowing yourself to get in touch with the feelings, both, allowing yourself to get in touch with the positive feelings. But in that, there's a part of us where any fearful feelings are going to come up too. That part of us that says, oh yeah, this is great. Get excited as you want. We're going to, you can fantasize all you want. We're just going to make sure it never happens because it would mean change. And as we're tapping, while we're doing that, we're clearing out those fears and we're getting excited about our vision and also saying, and it's okay. I could actually handle this. Whatever dangers I perceive about this, I could handle this.
Great. Brett, if you would meet Brett Yates, 17 years old, for example, what would you say to him? Do you have any suggestion to him? Maybe you don't want he do it again, maybe regrets or something.
Let's see, 17. It's a tough question, Pavel, because there's a level at which for all the challenges that I've gone through, the mistakes that I've made, it's funny because I'll meet people. My son's going off to college in a couple of weeks, and he's not sure what he's going to major in. He's undeclared. He's like, I don't know what I want to do yet. And he's concerned about that. I'm like, I didn't even find what I want to do until I was almost 40 years old. So I was 20 years after you know, older than you. But there's been a perfection to all of it, you know. So, I mean, I wish I would love to have known how to tap back then, so that I could have dealt with some of the things that came up. You know, my message to folks is always love yourself more, recognize how awesome you are. Too often come up with all the reasons why we're not awesome and not lovable, and those can be tapped away because they're not true. They're misunderstandings. So, you know, it's hard. So to any 17-year-old, I would say, love yourself more, you know, allow yourself to follow your dreams and clear out the fear, clear out those excuses about, you know, when other people tell you you can't do it. You know, be smart, have a plan, be, you know, because you got to take care of things. That was one of the things. Is for a long time I was like, oh, it's okay, I can just follow whatever dreams I have without thinking about it. You know, and that left me being an unemployed and very hungry actor. Hadn't taken care of the necessities. It was funny when I started taking care of the necessities and I got a real job. A 9-to-5 job while doing the tapping at night. That's when things started to take off for me. When I started to show up and be a responsible member of society and do things that I hadn't been willing to do, that's kind of when the universe said, okay, now you're ready. and within a couple of years allowed me to leave that job and do this full time. But there was something about, you know, also showing up as a responsible person and being willing to do things that I hadn't been willing to do in the past, that created the opening to do what I really want to do.
Wow, great, Brett. And to continue this question, what would you say in general to people who want to succeed in life, but they don't really know what to do, what they passionate about, what's their mission and goals?
Yeah, I believe that there's something inside of us that knows what we really want to do. You know, just like this. The statue is in there. Our best self is already in there. There is a part of us that is afraid to know what it is. You know, it's like, oh, if I knew what my purpose was, I'd have to do something about it. If I knew what to do, people always say, well, I think I know what I want, but I don't know how to do it. And I say, have you ever heard of a thing called Google? You can go on Google and type in how to, and you'll get a million answers. How to do pretty much anything you'd want to do. So why don't we Google it? Because if we know what the steps are, then we have to take them. And we're afraid, what if I fail? Or even scarier, what if I succeed?
Yeah.
You know, we look in the news and the media loves to make things difficult for people who are successful. Show up when they make mistakes and when things are tough for them. There's a part of us that says, I don't want to go through that. So there are a lot of things about success that are scary. So I would tell folks, you know, imagine the life you most desire. And then notice what you feel. Notice where you might feel afraid. Notice where it doesn't feel safe. Notice what physical sensations come up. You know, oh, my heart starts pounding in an uncomfortable way. You can start there. Even though my heart is pounding, all this fear. As we clear out our fear of having the life we most desire, we start to get a lot more clear about, oh, here's what I really want. And the other thing is, don't wait until you know for sure what it is. You know, I didn't discover tapping until I was 38. I couldn't sit around until I was 38 to take action. You know, sit in my parents' house. Well, I don't know yet what I want to be, so you know. So I thought I wanted to be an actor, And I mean, I did, and so I pursued that. And if I hadn't pursued acting, I probably, that's what led to this. So rather than standing at the fork in the road and going, I don't know which way to go, choose one path that looks like it might be the right path and start down that path. And one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to find out, yes, this is the right path for me, or you're going to find out this doesn't feel right, and you'll have more clarity about what it is that you do want. And then you can change. You're not stuck making, as I would say to my son, okay, declaring a major in college doesn't mean that's what you have to do for the rest of your life until you die. We make choices, and those lead us to other opportunities.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Brad. Do you have any final words, maybe some inspiration just to finish our interview?
Well, you tricked me into saying it earlier, Pavel. The whole thing about loving yourself.
Yeah.
That's my usual thing of final words. Learn to love yourself.
Yeah.
Because there's so many benefits to it. For one, when we really love someone, we want them to have the best. So when we really love ourselves, we want to give ourselves the best in life. As we clear out the reasons why we couldn't or shouldn't love ourselves, and we see ourselves as more lovable, funny thing happens. It's easier for other people to see how lovable we are. It's also easier for us to see how lovable other people are. When we can see the greatness inside of ourselves, we can more easily see the greatness inside of other people, and we can help them see it. It's a total win-win situation. So, allowing yourself to do that is just, there's so many benefits for us personally and for the world at large. So that's what I encourage people to do.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you very much. You're doing a lot of great things for thousands, probably it will be millions people soon, and I'm very grateful to know you, to have this conversation, Brad. And you're great, like you always say, magnificent, very bright, intelligent person, and thank you very much for everything.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate all your kind words. I appreciate that you're doing what you can to put yourself out there and make a difference. And I appreciate this opportunity to share this work. So thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Have a great day. And if I can do something for you, help, assist you, let me know.
I will do that.
And welcome to Moscow.
Well, we'll look at that, how to set up, because eventually I gotta get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So looking forward to it.
Brad, thank you very much again, and see you soon.
All right, take care, Pavel. Thanks.
Bye.